And you're gonna start video. And then you're going to do share screen. And you're gonna share this one. And then share. And then there's
I was
no,
trying to do that one over there.
and it's not working again.
Well, I couldn't find the arrows that you were using. I found the power button, but where the heck were the? What, do you still press the same button?
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
guess.
but it didn't work for me the other day for whatever reason.
I thought it would shut it off, that's why
Yeah, it's not working. At the end of today's class, we have to reset that one. And then maybe we'll get lucky and this one will come back on. That one wasn't working right, so we reset it and now this one's not working. But it's okay because that has our Zoom and our camera and everything on it.
It is,
What they do.
yeah. It always is something, right?
Yeah,
it's
where'd
not
you get that
working.
copy? Yeah, that's okay.
Hmm?
Where'd you get this copy? Is this, oh, this is your bowl. That's
Why do we have the big binder that Nicole had?
She bought that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
When she took it the first time with Rhonda, but I do have one.
It's okay. I'm fine with the screen. I was just wondering if we were all.
I have one actually.
Here, if you want to use these arrows and to go through the, yep,
Thank you.
and then there's the mouse track that I cut like it up.
Yeah, that's what's a little awkward about.
Anything I can get you?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Maybe unless you can go to the bathroom for me. I'm.
Alrighty, I'm good. I got 6 copies of this printed out, ready for people who are coming in to
Okay,
come and join.
awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Are they gonna be able to see me if I move this way? Because then I can see the screen.
Yeah. We can
turn it towards
you too.
There.
And then session.
Alright, I'm gonna go back.
You're
out there.
good. Yeah, thank
Thank you,
you.
Dave.
Yep, no problem.
All right, so here's this and it's 2015, so it's the same version.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, yeah.
I mean, this is, and we're pulling it straight from there.
I know.
So,
But I'm like, come on, KW, like step up your game. Like, you want people to come, you gotta make it relevant.
can you see that better?
Yeah.
I don't, it's really, really droopy.
It seems a little wobbly, which is a little strange. It's on there.
There's a lot back there.
Yeah.
It's gonna get done. I'm gonna call the lawyer today and see what's up. What's that?
I don't know if he was trying to turn it on.
Well, we don't have to.
To try to see in the back.
Yeah.
It's mostly the last one, and it's okay. But it made me worried for a moment that it was gonna fall off. I was like, no, TV down. I'll be right back. Oh, did he give you the packets for people? No.
He said he had them.
I wanted to make that today.
Well,
I'm
if
gonna
you,
sell it. I'm right there already.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm missing you.
Aw, I'm sorry I'm missing you. Good luck on your settlement.
Yeah, see ya.
So I brought them in. Here's an idea. He was trying to think, but some people might not come out there, they might just come right in. So
Yeah.
I'd rather have them in here if we.
Well, and we still have like 10 minutes.
Yep.
Like, 8 minutes, so. we're
We do. I'll be right back. I'm gonna use the restroom.
good. Do I have to let people in? Or
No,
they'll
it-
they're just in?
Yeah, I have a passcode on everything so that nobody has to worry about letting people in or
Okay. And then, is there any way I can share my screen?
on your laptop.
Yeah,
You can join the Zoom.
that's what I was thinking.
And then take it over.
and then take
That's how I run the
the company
office meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless
Okay.
you have, what Mac is that?
It's an old one.
Well, you might.
It's a 2015.
Speak, you might be able to use the HDMI to connect to there. And do it. Sorry about-
Well, both people in Zoom be able to see it.
Yeah, you'll just take over as co-host. So, yeah, mess around with it. Nobody's here yet. Or on there yet, so. We'll just have to see if it,
No,
Actually,
I can't.
That's
okay.
it's a very
And I
short.
don't have to share my screen, I just thought it would
Well,
be.
log into Zoom, go
Yeah.
and log into the Zoom, and then you can share when you need to.
Okay,
Just take over as host. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I saw Bob. I like those shorts. They're cute.
Thank you. It's funny, we just vacationed with my family and I have that green tank top I was wearing yesterday, I usually
Yeah.
wear with them. My sister came to dinner and the white shorts and the same color green, but a different green.
Yeah.
on top.
Oh, that's.
And I was
nice.
like, I'm gonna go change. I was like, we have matching outfits. She was like, no way. Because she lives in Florida, so it's not like we shop together.
Right, exactly.
Um,
Where do you shop?
this is all Ann Taylor.
Taylor.
Yeah, which just fits me well. I have good luck with Ann Taylor, 9 West, and Calvin Klein. So they're just, for whatever reason,
Yeah,
cut just,
yeah. I have
fits
no
me,
luck.
so.
with any of her names.
Although yesterday I was at Walmart just getting stuff for this open house I'm doing on Saturday.
Yeah,
And like somebody had like misplaced, like thrown a jean jacket, like, you know, in the homers, and I was like, oh, this is cute. And I put it on and it's like a little stretchy and I was like, oh, this is comfortable. And I was like, oh, and it's $11.
there you go. You can't
So
beat
see, and
that.
tailored to Walmart, it's fine,
Very, well, whatever.
yeah. Right, so I'm gonna use some of my.
Like something fell off the chair.
Sounds like somebody fell upstairs.
Are you okay? Did you fall off the chair? Oh, no. Feel responsible.
Anybody online?
You do have someone.
It's me. I'm online.
No, there's a person. Is that Mindy?
Oh, hi Mindy.
Hi there.
Hey. We have one person, we'll get started.
I'll have to leave
You and
early.
me.
I have to take my vet.
So the third part is marketing. We'll go through this section. Oh, errors. It's not letting me change.
Click into it.
Did you get the arrow?
Yeah. just
Okay.
the arrow.
So in this session, we'll do a quick introduction. We'll talk about marketing for lead generation, defining your brand and keeping it going throughout, marketing your brand, marketing listing, systematic marketing, and then putting it all together. So our ground rules still apply. Mindy, are we good? Do we need to go through these? We're good, right? So do we have any lead generation activities or ahas that we want to share? I'll go first. So I've been using the Facebook ads through command and following up with those leads. So from the open house and the relisted back on the market campaign that I did for this little house in Silver Spring, I have had a total of 12 leads, and I've reached out and called, left messages, and sent text messages to each of them. And I've actually gotten a couple of responses. So a couple of them were, you know, like, I'm really not interested. I just wanted to see the pictures, but at least it was, you know, something. And the more leads you get, the more you work towards an actual client. And then the most difficult part of those activities is just picking up the phone and dialing the number and getting ready for the rejection. But really, it's not that bad. So, Mindy, do you have anything to share?
No,
All right,
sorry.
that's okay. So we are going to be relentless marketers, but we're going to be target marketers so that we pair this with what we talked about on Tuesday with prospecting. So we want to make sure that we keep that part of the puzzle in mind as we continue to market and market appropriately. Because we don't want to just throw everything out to the wind and, you know, hope it catches and it goes. I like to say it's like throwing spaghetti at the wall. You throw it at the wall and see what sticks. Well, throw it at one wall, so it's a little bit more targeted. So. Our course map, here we are at number 3 after prospecting. Hi, Tina, thanks for joining us. Okay, marketing for lead generation. They say this is like baking, and it won't work without all the proper ingredients. So to bake bread, we need flour, that's our people. We need yeast, which is prospecting, kind of working that flour in. We need water, which is marketing, and again, just kind of mixing it all together. Our daily habits are what provide the heat, so the better we are at fueling that fire, just constantly poking the fire, the more successful that will be. So what is marketing? So for those of you who don't know me well, well, you guys both know me well, it's fine. But I graduated from the University of Tennessee, and my degree is in marketing and sales. And it's a Bachelor of Science degree. So I had the science and statistics part behind that as well. So I run a lot of numbers, and I'm always playing the 80-20 game, and it's a big part of what I do. So marketing is a more passive form of lead generation, but it's an important form. Like, it's still what all of our bigger brands still do. It's 26 touches to keep people remembering who you are. Like, there's nothing worse than running into an old acquaintance and they tell you they just sold their house and they're like, oh, I forgot you were a realtor. Like, that's why you do marketing. You do marketing to prevent that conversation.
Yes.
So we're not only looking to attract business, but we're looking to remind our sphere and our community what it is that we do, because it's not their job to remember. So the disadvantages to marketing, it can be expensive. We're going to talk about some less expensive marketing tools. It can be less personable and memorable. You know, we talk about sorting our mail over a trash can. We don't want to be that piece of paper that goes in the trash. And you do have, like, it takes longer to see your results from marketing, so it's not as immediate. Advantages, it's an efficient use of our time. We can hit a lot of people in a short window. And if we choose to, we can market to a very large audience, and we can get a lot of people. So those are some of the advantages there. So here's our truth. The role of marketing during your growth phase is to supplement your prospecting, not to replace. You can't market alone. You still have to talk to people, you still have to interact, you still have to be a part of everything. Prospecting comes first, marketing supports it. So the benefits, it gives you a reason to follow up, which is a great reason to prospect. It sets you apart after prospecting and it helps keep you on top of mind share. So we're going to talk about this. I'm going to switch this up a little bit. Since this 3612.3 is a little dated, I want to show you how you can use social media a little bit more powerfully to do just this. Like when we talk about lead generation, when you post something on Facebook, whether it's house related or not, if you go back and respond to the people who liked it, commented, it starts a conversation and becomes just more than marketing. That is where you pull in your prospecting. And really with the technology tools we have, it really does make a big difference now. It's all a numbers game. I'll let you guys kind of read through these. There's nothing like mind blowing here. Really, if you're just going to market, you're not going to have the same amount of success as if you market and prospect. And these numbers just show the same there. I will add to these statistics. When it comes to Facebook and Facebook leads, when they are not people in your sphere, right? They're just brand new, never mets, non-mets, right? Is that what we call them? That are pulling in and responding to Facebook ads or Facebook posts. It takes 300 of those leads to get to one sale. And then 300 of those, and it's 100 interactions. And then that is one sale. I don't know if anybody has any other numbers that they have tracked that they want to share, but those are the Keller Williams numbers. So that's,
Wow.
covering a pretty wide range. I think Katie has been more successful with that, where she's like 50 to 1. Jeremy, you do a lot of social media. Do you know your stats?
I mean, I know the overall conversion rate for them, but I wouldn't be able to tell you how many conversations. We have AI do a lot of that for us.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I know typically with Facebook, I mean, you're looking at like a 1 to 2% conversion rate.
Yeah. So it is cheaper than direct mail. It is, like you're saving a lot of costs there, but that's it. So, any questions about marketing lead generation percentages, all these fun statistics? Okay. So our myth, I only need to prospect or market to be successful. We've talked about that a lot. We will ring that true all the way through this presentation. You have to do both. Successful lead generation is a combination of prospecting and marketing. You can't just put yourself out there. You've got to circle back and have the conversations. Myth number 2, the purpose of prospecting and marketing is to get appointments. The truth is the purpose of prospecting and marketing is to get appointments and increase your database of Mets. So it's to build your sphere and to build your database and how many touches, and then you can put them into your systematic marketing where you stay top of mind. Myth number 3, any marketing I do builds mind share. Any large brand will tell you this. It takes 26 touches a year to build mind share. That's why Doritos still pays for a Super Bowl ad. That's why you still see the Apple everywhere. You have to constantly stay in front of your clients to remind them that you're a real estate agent. If you don't market repeatedly and consistently, you're throwing your money away. We have talked about defining your brand a little bit. This kind of goes back to the first step in creating your value proposition. So mine is that I am kind, considerate, and professional when I represent myself, my clients, and any real estate transaction and in my life in general. And I will always bring those values to the table. Now, that doesn't mean I'm gonna be kind and like sheepish and not go to bat for my clients. It just means when I go to bat for my clients, I will be kind, considerate, and professional. I won't be the agent throwing things across the room because something didn't settle on time. And if you have not had one of those, you're lucky, but they can be intense.
That was
So,
yesterday for me.
yeah, that can be a little intense. What makes your branding unique? It needs to be memorable, something that is catchy, something that will stick with people. Kindness seems to be something that people remember and have associated with me. And I do think that is part of my brand and my marketing. It's on my business cards, it's on all the pieces that I send out.
They always
so-
say marketing, people remember 1% of what you, or they don't remember anything that you said, but basically they remember how you made them feel. So kindness would matter.
Yeah. Well, and there was, honestly, like I stole that from Ellen DeGeneres and like jumped on that bandwagon when it was, like everybody wants to be kind. We all want to live in a kinder world. And,
Yeah.
and I want to be a part of that.
And
too,
so few people these days, in my opinion, think of anybody else but themselves,
Mhm.
like just general politeness.
On Facebook, I just saw we had a comment.
There's something on the chat, yeah. I can't see.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to work this mouse and,
There you go.
but I'm looking at my computer.
It's okay. I'll be lazy. She had to take her doggies to the vet. That was Mindy.
How do I get rid of?
Just X, that X on the chat box.
Oh, there's my mouse.
There you go.
Okay. So there are two ways to build your reputation, marketing, and your brand, and delivering your USP and your customer service. Everything can be a part of your brand. So that's everything from business cards to your Facebook posts to networking events and just different community things that you're involved in. A big part of my sphere comes from my church. I'm part of a small Catholic church, in my opinion, but we have about 1,400 families, so it's a good sphere to be a part of, and that stems to other things, preschools, elementary schools, that kind of thing. So I do a lot of marketing there. And in the bulletin, I'm on their website, I'm on the school take-home folder. Whenever they have like a play or something, I support that. So I am constantly in front of those people, and if there is a publication that comes out of my church, I'm gonna be on it. That's just where I am. I'm starting to do the same with the school that my kids attend, because that makes a big difference as well. Like the more people see me and the more they see my face and the kind, considerate, professional logo, then the more I'm recognized, and that's helpful. And so that's when you're at the PTO Color Fun Run and somebody's like, oh, hey, I have a real estate question, or maybe you can help me out with that. And I don't have to go searching for those. So. And finally, there is no right brand. So I would disagree with this slightly. I would say to be professional in your branding and not to be discriminatory against other people. So you need to be careful with picking your brand, because you don't want to accidentally alienate one group of people.
Click back onto the screen.
I can't see the mouse.
I don't know where it is.
A little
either.
further.
Where's the mouse?
A little bit more to the,
The mouse is all the way at the top right. Just bring it to the center there. I know, it's tricky.
I'm like, I need to kill this light so I can see.
We can turn it down a little bit.
Yeah, not too much.
There we go.
Oh, much better. That's much better.
Yeah.
Mood.
Mood lighting. Ambiance.
Marketing does that to us.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm sorry, guys, I like really finished just being.
If you just click, I
I'm
see.
like, yeah.
The
I'm on, like,
page
page
changed.
54.
So we were at 17, 18.
I can't get past this page. Hold on, wait a minute.
There you
Yeah,
go.
do it possible way. There we go. You know what it is I have a Mac and we move in the other direction.
Yep. And then I have a Mac, but my mouse is the old school. So I don't move in the, it's weird, but I think I do. It's still wrong direction. It's funny.
Alright, let's just-
Technology screws you up.
It does.
I apologize for walking in late.
That's all right.
That's okay, thanks for coming to my birthday party. But it feels like when you're teaching a class and nobody knows, you're like, oh, it's like nobody came to my birthday party. All right, 17, is that where we're at?
Yep, 17, 18.
Who remembers what USP is?
What we're supposed to be working on. Selling positioning.
Proposition,
Okay.
yeah, sure. Okay, so your unique selling proposition, your style and your brand. And you also need to match that with your target audience. So that's kind of what that's supposed to be, like an algebraic.
Formula.
Anyway, so you can refine your unique selling proposition at any time. And it can continue to build as you continue to grow your business. So where I started with being kind, considerate, and professional has morphed into something a little bit more as I've gained experience and as I've had more and more transactions. I also didn't realize when people saw that, they thought I would be like meek and, you know, be like, oh, it'll be okay. That's not the type of real estate person that I am. So to change that and explain that as I explained my selling proposition and my branding has addressed that a little bit differently. So has anybody else had any experiences that they want to share? Have something in the chat again.
You can probably pull up the chat on your.
I'm on
laptop
my
too.
computer and then.
And then
That's
answer
true.
it
And then
there,
it
so you're not trying to bend over completely to read that.
That was just, okay. All right,
I went on a showing last night. And I mean, I deal with some investors and I deal with some of the people I've been dealing with. They're not looking for the typical house. You know, they want the garage.
Right.
Or they, and I went on a showing last night. This was just this couple, they were just a ranch style house and the previous agent and clients were leaving and he looked at me and said, Bob, that's what I like about you. You're down to earth. Well, what do you mean? I said, well, look at that agent pulling out in a Lexus. You're sitting there in a Ford. Well, okay. But you're just down to earth. You're just, yeah, you don't come off, any way or any, you just, okay, well, thank you.
So don't buy a Lexus. Bob.
So, well, you should see what looks they give me when I pull up on the Harley.
Yeah, that's a brand of its own. right?
Yeah.
I did have, when I traded in the soccer mom van for my little SUV out there, my car dealer, he was like, well, you need to have a nice car. He was like, you're a real estate agent, that's the first thing people judge you by is what kind of car you roll up in.
Not
No.
me.
I was like, you mean the soccer mom, like everybody roll out of the minivan, you know, like, it's not cutting it, it was really funny. but,
Even how you dress. I mean, when I first started buying houses, all the agents were, dressed up,
Mhm.
and
It's work, it's a
yeah,
job.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the places some of the clients I'm dealing with, and some of the
Yeah.
places I go to, I'm wearing blue jeans and I even take a pair of boots along because I know we're gonna get into something that's not yet.
Yeah.
I did that as well, like I showed a property and it was a 2-acre lot and it backed up onto a stream and I was like, Tom's gonna wanna walk the lot. So I,
You have to dress appropriate for the situation.
yeah, so we did the house first and I was in, my professional dress shoes and then he was like, well, can we walk the lot? And I was like, yeah, let me switch into boots. He was like, I brought my boots too. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that also shows that you're prepared,
Yeah.
and that you are
absolutely.
professional.
And
you
that
know?
is, that is still professional.
Yeah.
Like we've all heard the story of the $1 million boots because they walked 40 acres,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
gotta do it, so.
Mhm.
Any other things that people want to share? So making sure that your strongest value proposition is articulated and highlighted. We can do a lot in our branding and again, like this is where social media can play a big part in increasing that for you as well. Sorry, the technology is having two computers around this.
There it is.
I think here, she might be able to.
There you
There we go. Okay. All right, so this is our exercise we can take 5-10 minutes to just quickly refine your unique selling proposition that we've been working on. Split into one group.
Or we could each be an individual group.
Yeah. But I'll give you guys just a minute to work on that, and then if you have any questions. Jeremy, do you have a unique selling proposition?
I do,
What is it?
the buy or sell with me, move for free program.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're driving on the 83.
Uh-huh.
My husband sees your billboard and he goes, that's a great idea. What does it mean? And I'm like, well, I don't know because I'm not Jeremy. How would I know what his program is? And I'm like, he's like, well, do you know that guy? I'm like, yeah, and you've met him too. So I explained it. And he was like, oh, like, so if you want to move, you guess you need to ask Jeremy about his moving program. I'm like, why are you asking me that?
So now he's gonna refer somebody to Jeremy.
No. But it did catch his attention,
Yeah.
and it was funny because at the same time, Jerry Riggleman was on
Yeah.
the other billboard,
Yeah.
and
Not anymore, it's milk.
yeah, now it's
Yeah.
changed. But when Jerry got that picture done,
Yeah.
we were both at Remax, and I was
Mhm.
like, you gotta change that picture. I'm like, he's like, why? I love that picture. I'm like, I'm sorry, but you look like a dork with your hair like that.
Oh, I think it's a good photo.
Oh, I think it's terrible. And
Oh,
I'm
really?
like,
Yeah.
and brown
I don't
is
know,
not your
so-
color. Like,
Yeah.
don't wear a brown tie. And
And
he
you
was like,
see him
I
in
like
person,
that.
he looks completely different.
Yeah, exactly.
More-
But it was so funny because both of your ads were right there. And like, my husband has met both of you, he doesn't remember them, but he was like, oh, what's that moving program? So, it
Mhm.
did catch
Mhm.
somebody's attention that,
So when I first started, I have a coach who told me to create a USP and I hated him for it. I was like, that's the stupidest thing ever. Why do I need that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And I did it, and now it's like, that's what gets people talking, that's what gets the phone to ring, that's the difference between outbound leads and inbound leads, or outbound business and inbound business, because generating leads, you have to call, right? Marketing marketing enhances prospecting, but when you have a USP and you go for branding, that's what's gonna start to create the inbound calls of people calling you and seeking you out because you're differentiating yourself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I hated my coach for it.
Has it always been that program?
What's that?
Has it always been the moving?
I mean, we have several, right? Like we have the Move for Free program. We have the Easy Out agreement, so we don't tie any of our people into buyer
Yeah, I've
agencies.
always done that
We
too.
have.
I just don't tell people until I'm sitting down with
We
them.
have a tiered commission structure, so for sellers that want to haggle their agents to get them from 6 down to 5, well, we've got a 4%, a 6%, and a 7%. Which one do you want? You know, so the tiered commission structure, the Move for Free, the Easy Out agreement. We have a satisfaction guarantee for our buyers based on ensuring they won't get cold feet. So if they're not satisfied with their purchase and they let me know within the first year, I'll resell their house for free, contingent on them buying their next house also with me.
Oh, wow.
That's a neat program.
So between those are pretty much
Yeah.
what we do. And depending on the client and their situation that's what determines which one I'm gonna drive home for them.
Well, that's cool.
Any questions? Anybody else want to share?
I did one years and years ago, and I don't even remember what it was, like it's in a book somewhere from some class.
So what I would say, the biggest difference from hearing Jeremy's versus what mine are is his are very action driven and are very program driven. Mine are very philosophical driven, you know, like, it's, mine are more feel emotional, his are more tactical. And those are both great approaches, and different approaches, so.
What are yours?
So my branding is that I'm kind, considerate, and professional, and my unique selling proposition falls right into that I will treat you and everybody I come in contact with, or when I represent you and your home, with kindness, consideration, and professionalism. I will negotiate hard, and I will always have your back. I will always be professional. You will never be embarrassed to be sitting next to me anywhere. So. And that has surprisingly gone a long way. And you'd be surprised when I tell people that, where they're like, oh my gosh, the agent that sold me this house, like I see her and I run the other way. People tell me that. I'm like, I will never be that person. That's my goal, is to always be somebody you're proud to associate yourself with. So.
Cool.
Okay. All right, moving on. Stay on track. Okay, so defining your brand, analyzing your style, makes you memorable, what speaks to you in your target demographic. I have a lot of people that go back and forth with this, who actually has like a logo. Like I know Kate has a logo, Megan has a logo. I'm like, my face is my logo, is that wrong? But that's what I want people to remember. And then I'm at the grocery store with like my hair in a bun and no makeup on, and I'm like, never mind, don't remember me.
And that's when you see everyone. I cannot tell you how many people I run into.
Or at the pool,
Or,
or
yeah.
and I'm like, so I've just come to accept it, and it's gonna be okay. And I have talked about real estate with people with no makeup. I think I shared this story last time, and it has led to more than 6 transactions. So, but the logo, I know, does help a lot of people. And I think Kate and PA, they have one.
Sometimes I use, I'm not consistent with it, selling York and Adams County 1 yard at a time,
I like that one.
you know, but then sometimes I'll do stuff in Lancaster County and I'm like, oh, or, you know, if I sell something in Cumberland County, I'm like, oh, maybe I should put this out there, you know, so I don't know if that geographical aspect, you know, limits me, but I don't really go outside of my area too much. I'm pretty much just York and Adams County.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I do
getting
put that.
pulled into where I live more and more. So I'm gonna have to-
You are.
I'm gonna have to flip that a little bit,
Yeah.
so. Your personality, your target group preferences, that's all part of your style. Do you guys have a target market?
I used to really love working only with first-time home buyers. Like I really marketed to them and did a lot of first-time home buyer stuff, you know, seminars and mortgage counseling kind of things with lenders. Now, I mean, after being in the business so long, I used to love the thrill of the hunt, you know, for the perfect house to match up with them specifically and try to find the house for them. now I really find myself as I'm aging, maybe getting a little bit more comfortable with the downsizers, the retirees that are going into assisted livings and nursing homes. I can relate to them, having dealt with my mother-in-law, dealt with my parents. A lot of people in my church are kind of in that stage. So, I still love the first time home buyers because I do like the thrill of the hunt. But they're just so exhausting, especially in this kind of a market, like geez Louise. Whereas I'm really enjoying much more than I thought I would some of those downsizers, retirees. I think as I get closer to their age, I can relate to them a little bit more, because in the beginning I was like, oh, you're old, And I like the fact that they have equity and they know what they're doing, and, they're kind of crotchety, but, it's just a different kind of insecurity.
One of my clients, Bob, I think you met them, Carolyn Bob. Did you meet Carolyn Bob?
Yes.
Bob told me that he was like, I am not grumpy. I am experienced and direct. And I was like, can I use that? And he's like, no, you're much too young. You don't have enough experience. But that's how I feel like my older clientele are. Like they know what they want, they know how they're gonna get it, and they have certain expectations. So knowing those expectations is important, but and they're certainly direct. So
Okay, let me move.
target market that you feel like you really hone in on.
Sparring your cord.
Not really. I don't think, but I think back through who I dealt with it. Some investors and some
What are
some
you
guys. that-
doing? That's the sign that you were just listening
They're looking
to?
for buildings or something.
Yes,
I guess I kind of leaned toward
oh
that
my
way,
goodness,
just
you're so nice.
by happenstance or.
That's
If
Sam
York
Stein.
County had a whole bunch of pole buildings with
Fun
just a
telling
hot
me
plate and a
every day.
toilet in it, I think we could sell
Thank
those on it.
you.
Bingo. Yeah. A garage with a detached
I'm
house.
trying to
Yeah.
get his house in my
Yeah.
client, but he has, he told me his lender fell through on his other
So
client.
I would say
But they're
that
gonna
mine,
have to
I'm
leave. He
again,
needs
like
to leave
definitely
that
in my
for 2
sphere, but
I'm like, look, my client wants to
target
come in and buy
specific
now. Give it
audiences.
to me.
One of them is my husband's piece of work.
I use my phone to
So
keep
I
it in.
really push him to be like, don't forget, when people are talking about real estate, you just need to say, hey, my wife does that, like, they've all met me, they all know
So get in
me,
there and
they go to all his happy hours, just stay, present, piece of, and in front of them. I have most of them now on a drug campaign, so they get those touches too. And I've sold to, so 2 of them are my clients, and they talk about me, and so those have been
I'm just listening.
very good, but that's where I do like my charity work, that they do a fundraiser for anesthesia groups. And so I'm getting the table there and sponsoring there, and going to those networking, like that's where I'm gonna spend my time. So I'm part of my money, and again, like I said before, anything that my church funds, I try and get in. So, do we need to complete the style analysis? Andrea,
My name looked like
we can
Michael.
hear you.
Oh, wait, you gotta hear this then?
I don't know if you wanna mute yourself.
My guy's like, oh, why am I selling any houses? Well, bro.
I can mute
I
her.
need
Alright, we'll just work with it. So defining your brand, you can develop an identity statement. Again, for me, that's for a professional, a statement with your core business identity, a combination of your style, and proposition, guides and development of your lead generation actions. So this last phase, I think, is where Jeremy is really like exceeded in developing as an actual USP.
My daughter, trust me, but it's motivation, but I don't need to do all that. It's a boiler room.
Go ahead and write down your brand identity statement. It should definitely come from your unique selling proposition. Include your target demographic. So Tina, it sounds like you have a pretty good idea what that is, and Bob, you've got your investors. And we'll add like a little bit of a personal style to that, so that we can be
3, I think.
unique, memorable.
I want to take something down memory lane.
And we can identify
Right.
where we can look for our target market, which we're gonna talk about when we talk a little bit more about social media. And then ask us to complete the form on page 25.
Well, that makes sense then, because
No.
me, myself,
You guys have a couple minutes to
Look
do
at,
that.
and look at our broker training right here.
is
I was
that the
gonna
broker
say,
spot?
It's
a Wednesday.
Look at our broker, and I like I pull up next, and I'm like, oh, I got your customer, I was like, you know.
I don't know, that's a hard.
I
I don't
know.
have hard.
But I was like, oh, is that a customer? I was like, well, that's my spot anyways. I'm like, let me pull it up. I'm like, oh, it's not it. But you were selling them just like the other day.
A dirt bike.
You ride, right? Obviously.
I'll
Yep.
do the one thing.
My girlfriend's actually, my
One good
girlfriend's
hit,
selling.
catch them out.
a
That's
really,
it.
really
I think the hardest part is like trying to identify like, in a word or a slogan or a phrase.
I liked what you guys did and I
Other
missed
people's-
it because of COVID. When you guys put it out there for other people to comment about their experience, I feel like we're really hard on ourselves and we overthink, and you're definitely an overthinker too, and you
Right.
overanalyze ourselves. It's best if you hear your best traits from other people.
Mhm.
And I feel like it is better in a group setting to kind of feel that out with people that you trust and
Mhm.
bounce the ideas off of them.
Yeah, when we did that exercise, I don't know if it was this week or last week, I don't know.
Last week.
Where we texted people, I don't have my phone, it's in my office. But one of the people texted back later that afternoon because she'd been in the doctor's office. She was like, kind and relational. I was like, oh, okay, how would I put that in a, like, oh.
You make friends.
Yes.
That's what that means.
Resourceful.
Okay, relational and kind. I was like, oh, okay. And then one of the lenders, who was a guy, I kind of wanted something different, like, and I forget what he put, but it was kind of the same thing, but in a different
Did
way.
you post it on Facebook?
No, I haven't done that yet.
A lot of people who did,
Yeah.
because I saw Mindy, I saw Michelle,
I meant
Bob,
to,
I
but I
think you
just
did,
haven't.
Erin, did you?
No, I was
There
on
were,
vacation.
there were a couple of people that did, and they all received, like Mindy did, and Eric Brewer commented, and it gave her really nice feedback.
Yeah.
Like, do it. I know we're all afraid of it, but just do it.
I mean, it's hard to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't want somebody to put something negative,
Right.
but that's,
She's a bit.
that's really bad on them if they do.
Didn't you do that the other day? Yep.
Yeah.
you just said that. Yeah, Bob, Mindy, Michelle Manahan, I can't think who else
Who
did.
else was here?
I think that that's.
You got a lot of positive, I didn't read the comments. You got
Yeah,
a lot
I
of positive.
did. He got a lot of positive, especially being as new as you
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
That's excellent. Michelle Manahan had a lot of good, Mindy had, I mean, she's
Stories,
very,
yeah.
she had stories.
Yeah.
And that was just excellent to read. And it's a booster too.
Yeah.
It is.
But anybody who knows you should be commenting on that. So don't be afraid to
Yeah.
post it. I thought it was cool. And then in there, you will find what sets you apart.
Mhm. So my son is 15 and just applied for his first jobs, got denied by Subway.
Ah,
total miss on their part, but he got picked up by Burger King. But he was like, Mom, they asked me like what my greatest strengths are. And he was like, I don't know. Like, what do you think my greatest strengths are? And I was like, well, I have lots of strengths for you, but you're also my kid. I was like, what have your coaches said about you? And he was like, oh, well, everybody says I'm coachable. I don't really know what that means, but they say I'm coachable. They say I always give it my all. I leave everything out on the field. I was like, so when they ask you that question, that's how you respond. I have a really hard time talking about my own strengths, but this is what my coaches say about me.
Yeah.
I'm like, because that's gonna go a long way. Coachable means you're teachable, you know, and for me in my past life, what everybody has always said about me is that I'm resilient. You can knock me down 1,000 times, I'm gonna get right back up.
Yeah.
Put my lipstick on, go right back at it. Like, it takes a lot to get me down. And when I get down, my first instinct is to stand back up, whether that's stupid or not, because I tend to get hit again. It's fine, but you know, but to have resiliency associated with your name is not necessarily a bad thing.
yeah, that's
So,
great.
yeah.
I think in this industry especially.
So marketing your brand, we're gonna market to sellers, we're gonna market to buyers. Again, this is why having multiple selling propositions can be important, because what you tell to buyers is going to be different than what you tell to sellers. Or to have a big umbrella and then filter based on what's appropriate from there. So decide what kind of customers you want. We've talked a little bit about that already, and then pick the best marketing vehicle to work with them. This is where I'm going to insert some social media stuff. So the 6 methods that we recommend for marketing are community involvement, media, mail outs, signs, automated marketing, and I like number 6, the internet, just the whole internet. So.
Well, this was 2015.
I
so,
know,
you know.
and so a lot has changed in 7 years.
Yeah.
Particularly, I would say signs and mail outs have changed probably just
And-
as much as the internet has.
Right, and
changed.
that media, number 2, you know, I remember when I was first in real estate on the team that I was on, we had a meeting every Tuesday morning, and we had a marketing company that would come in once a month to sit in our meetings, and we would like look over which billboard companies we were gonna put, you know, billboards on, and where we were gonna put them, and like, you know, 40 grand for a billboard. And, you know, that was 20 years ago. And it was like, you know, we're gonna put this ad and, you know, on this billboard,
And
and
then,
we're
yeah,
gonna run it for this long, we're gonna put this spot on this radio station, and we're gonna run it from this time to this time. And I was just
I
sitting
miss
there
that.
going, holy cow, because none of that was me, you know, like I wasn't listening to those radio stations at those times. And it was really interesting to see how that individual who's, you know, still in the business, and that's his marketing strategy still works. But, you know, I don't do radio ads. I don't do TV ads. I don't do, you know, print ads anymore like we used to. You know, you'd have to submit your ad on a Thursday for not this Sunday, for the following Sunday, you know, so you had to know which open houses you were doing. You had to know, you know, like all of that marketing and stuff. So it's
and then people
really
would
different.
throw marketing numbers at you, you know, like this billboard has so many drive-bys,
Right.
this is the traffic, the population, this is how many people are buying the newspaper, this is how many I forget the-
Impressions.
Impression,
Yeah.
yeah.
well,
I
and
miss it. I
that's the
used to do
social
that
media
in
one
Denver.
now, it's
Yeah.
impression and views.
Oh, they use it for like the billboards. They use it
Yeah.
for billboards too.
Yeah, so, you know, it's interesting. I would now switch, you know, number 6 and number 2, you know, it's nice for the agents that can, you know, support it. Sometimes you'll see something on TV, and usually it's like the big brands, you know, that have that kind of deep pockets, but, you know,
Yeah.
the internet is where it is now.
I love that it's just the internet.
The internet.
So we'll, the big 3 marketing principles: research your new marketing method in your area, talk to your team leader and mentor, and lead with revenue. Like, what revenue do you want to get out of it? So, thank you, Jeremy, for sharing.
Yep.
Have a good
Okay,
trip.
Jeremy, thanks.
So community involvement, let's start with this one. This is my biggest marketing but this is where I spend the majority of my marketing dollars. And one, because that's why I wanted to be a profitable real estate agent, was not only to help people, but because I wanted to give back to my community. And in my prior job, I didn't have the funds to do that. So this is one of my whys. This is one of the reasons that I do what I do. And it's a circle. It's, you know, it just comes, not only do you feel good about giving and you're seeing that difference in your community, but then it also comes back to you with customers, because people want to work with people they know, like, and trust. And when you're contributing to your community, they know you, they like you for contributing, and they trust you. So we can do this through sponsorships, charity organizations, social organizations. That one I struggle with a lot. I don't have a lot of social organizations. Business organizations, the Young Women's Group, those kinds of different groups, and personal interest groups. So we did this exercise in bold, and we wrapped it into our social media. Do you guys remember doing that? Where you needed to go out to Facebook and generally Facebook, but also LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a huge social media aspect that you have to pay attention to, especially if you're going to sell luxury high-end homes, or if you're looking for investors. That's where they get their realtors from. So you go out and you find those community groups on those social media sites, you join them and you contribute to them. So that's not going out there and being like, I'm a real estate agent, I like cars too, you know, like that's not, the goal is to go out there and contribute something that identifies with that community, and start building your relationships, and then your marketing is going to start hitting all of them as well. Any questions on community involvement? Everybody on Zoom okay? Okay. So our checklist for a win-win community event. If you are not the premier sponsor, I am never the premier sponsor. That's okay. You want to thank all the people who did it. Thank the biggest sponsor before, during, and after the event, if you have a speaking opportunity, or just while you're networking with them, because that event probably wouldn't happen if they weren't involved. I also really like to thank the people who planned the event. Having been an event planner myself, there are a lot of little people behind the scenes, and even recognizing that if you can find out the person who's going to clean the room afterwards, or who set it up for you, to thank them goes a long way. People remember that. So
For sure.
actually, I had a professor do that to me on our auditorium, not just me, but I was a finance class. So you would think like that wouldn't be, you know, too touchy-feely, warm and fuzzy class. It was in the largest auditorium at UT. There were 350 students in this one class, okay? So big auditorium, people talking. Professor walks in, he says, "Hi, I'm so-and-so. This is finance, da-da-da-da. If you can tell me who cleans this room right now, I'll give you an A in this class, so you never have to come back." And that everybody was like, but his point was like, you need to know who I am and who the littlest person on staff is, and everybody in between is going to matter. And in a finance world, that one little bookkeeper who's making, you know, at the time minimum wage, like, can really screw you up. So you better know who they are and know where your numbers come from, and know you need to know everybody down to who's cleaning out your trash can.
Yeah.
Because if you throw something sensitive away instead of shredding it, you need to know who may have seen it.
I always treated that person
Yep.
sometimes better than the people higher up,
Yeah.
because you don't realize how much they have an impact on every little area. So in dentistry, it was the person sterilizing and cleaning the rooms after everybody, and they got walked on all the time.
Yeah.
I would go in with gift cards, I'd call her if she want coffee, like I just made them feel special because they kept the place humming. like
Yeah,
at the
they
end of
do.
the day.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
that was instilled into me very early in my career too, and I'm grateful because she stayed there for a long time, and I know it made a really big difference, because
Yeah.
people take advantage of you, and just having somebody that you can go to and shows you respect, like, is huge.
Yep, and everybody's job is important.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes during the transaction, that happens with the, the settlement coordinator or the underwriters or the processors or people, the paralegals, stuff, people that you don't really see face to face, and they take a lot of abuse from different aspects, and it is important to,
Build them up.
build them up
Right.
and
And then-
treat them
And then
kindly.
in return,
Right,
guess
those
what
results
happens?
come differently.
They stay and they do what needs to be done all day long with a smile instead of not.
Exactly.
Well, and you never know who you're talking to. So
Right.
that person, like they might have a brother, a sister, a parent, somebody who needs to sell a
Yeah.
$500,000 home or something, and they're gonna say, oh, this realtor at this event thanked me for cleaning the room, you should try her. Well, yeah, that's gonna go a long way. It was, so it does make a difference. Definitely try to be upfront at charity events. If you have a giveaway, ask to introduce the giveaway, build up the giveaway, and make it about the giveaway, not you. I introduced myself as Erin Rogers. I'm a realtor from Keller Williams. But what I really want to talk to you about is this amazing purse that we're giving out, that we're auctioning off for Pink Power or whatever. And I build up the giveaway, and then at the end, I do say my name and the company again. But the bulk of that is talking about the quality of the giveaway and then bringing it up. Write a letter to the editor. I mean, I've never done that for an event. Has anybody ever done that for an event? Anybody on the chat ever done that? And offer to sponsor next year. If you can, offer to sponsor before the event takes place. So, because they will announce and thank their sponsors and say who is sponsoring again for next year. So you get kind of like a double whammy. Those have been successful for me as well. So media advertising. I will tell you, I have friends in TV who are sportscasters, news anchors, and they're all getting out of TV because nobody watches TV anymore. Like, and then I'm like, I'm the old person who still watches TV and misses cable. Like, and we just switched from Hulu to YouTube TV, and I'm not sure I like it. But like, we don't like. If I'm listening to the local news, it's the app on my phone, and the commercials are different. It's just commercials are really, like, I know Adam Flinchbaugh just invested a lot in his TV ads. But we really just, I mean, people are getting out of TV and we're going to streaming, and that's just how we're moving. And part of that is because cable companies got too big for their britches and are charging an arm and a leg for cable, and streaming is $10 a month. And it's all the same shows and they don't have commercials, or they have the same commercial like 8 times.
Yeah.
But some of these do ring true, like you want to have quality presentations, you want to be consistent. Placement does matter, especially if you're going to do print advertising. Brand consistently across various medias, track your response rate and your impressions, as Jeremy said, like whether it's a billboard, a radio ad. Radio ads, by the way, are more efficient right now than TV ads. And less expensive. But your TV impressions matter too, if that's a choice that you make. Somebody from our office has a radio ad. I can't think of who, it's not somebody that I've met. So the name doesn't stick with me, but Keller Williams Keystone always catches my ear. And then I'm like, who was that? It's on WPOC. Or no, it's on, no, that's Baltimore. It's on whatever the country radio station is, 94.9.
Is it
Bob. 94.9.
Yeah. Is it you?
Monsoon?
That's out of Harrisburg.
Maybe.
Somebody in that area. I have heard it too now that you say it.
It's KW Keystone, but I think it's somebody out of the Dillsburger Chamber.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
so I used to, when I was in my dental years, you did everything.
Mhm.
But you had to be really careful because it's all about just brand recognition at the end of the day, because what nobody's gonna remember you until their tooth hurts. And it's like, what's the last thing that they saw? So we did the mailers, we did the radio, we did the billboards, but our billboards weren't about dentistry, they were about our team
Right.
and our culture. So we did everything, the newspaper, I designed the newspaper ads and turned them in. So we did everything, but it was really the most important piece of anything that we do in real estate is consistency.
Mhm. And that's just marketing in general. Those are those 26 touches every single year.
Yeah.
No matter if you're Doritos or Aaron Rodgers Realtor. That's just how it is.
Yeah, consistency is the
Yeah.
most important thing.
So this is talking about mail outs and print material. Like we all say, you know, we sort our mail over the trash can. So the most important thing that you can do from a mailer is provide value, which Nicole talked a lot about last time, and then also following up with phone calls, door knocking. If you can follow up through Facebook and social media as well. And that's something that isn't really discussed in here. But this is what I did for our open house event. That was a postcard. We used the same images for social media. I posted it to social media. I mailed it out to 20 of my past clients that all live fairly close to here. And then I followed up with a phone call. But for them to see it, and they would say on Facebook, like, oh, I got that in the mail. Thank you for the invitation. We can't come, we're on vacation, whatever. But that was more memorable and stuck with them longer than just getting the postcard in the mail. Like it takes both. So if I could go back in time and do that again, I would have done that more with the realtors that I had invited to the event, because I called my clients, but I didn't call the realtors that I had invited, and none of them came, and 6 of my clients did. So that's, shows the difference in that approach.
Right, yep.
Does anybody else have anything they want to add?
Yeah, no, I think that's great.
So the last part with mail outs is leverage seasons events, kind of what we just talked about there. The signs Jeremy talked about a little bit with the billboards, proof materials before they go to print, because after they've been printed, there's not a whole lot you can do. I would like to share a yearbook story here. In our elementary yearbook, we highlight our 6th grade because they're our graduating class, and we do their current school picture, and in the corner, we do a picture from when they were 4 or 5, and their parents submit that picture, and it's just really cute to see the difference. So some are school pictures, some are more candid. I had looked at this thing so much, and the people that were supposed to help me got busy and didn't end up helping me, so I ended up being the only eyes on it. And got it done by the deadline, turned it in, got it printed, it showed up early, we're all very excited. And I shared it at the PTO meeting, and one of the board members is flipping through it, and she's like, how come Jocelyn's picture, like you have a duplicate picture? I was like, what do you mean? She was like, well, there are 2 Jocelyns, one with a C and one with a Z. And the kid picture, the baby picture, was the same for both. So I had to call the teacher, figure out which Jocelyn I had messed up, call that parent who was very understanding and sent me the right picture. But I had her checked off my list that I had a picture of her, and I never actually did because I had 2 Jocelyns, which I messed up. So I put that on Vistaprint and had stickers, round stickers printed, and went through every yearbook sticking over that picture. It was an $84 mistake and some time. But like your heart just sinks. And then everybody noticed that it was raised, and apparently my kids told me everybody pulled the stickers out of the book. So I felt really bad. But, so proof your materials and have somebody else proof your materials. Like that was a lesson that as my kids and I are putting stickers on 175 books. I'm looking at my kids and I'm like, this is why I want to read your reports before you turn them in. Like, so this kind of stuff doesn't happen to you.
Because your brain just, I once was told, read something backwards.
Yeah.
Because, that way, you can really double check for spelling and, and we get so accustomed now with leaning on the computer that yes, the word might be spelled right, but it might be,
Does it have the right meaning?
out of context, or it might be out of place, or you might have hit a typo. So instead of the word to, it's the word top, or, just something little that because you've looked at it so many times, you don't see it.
Right,
Yeah.
right, absolutely. Again, match your message, share contacts, and your signs must be legible. Like there's nothing worse. I have driven by, especially Realty One. Have you guys seen their yard signs? You've probably driven past them. They're white and you see a gold circle and that's about all you can see. You can't see the company name, you can't see the realtor's name. Now, Taylor Cafeterian, who used to be here, who I'm good friends with because my kids go to her karate school, she put her picture on hers and because she said the same thing. She was like, nobody could see it. And they say, but I'm like, how do you know the house is for sale? How do you know it's not a yard sign? How do you know it's not a barber shop at that house? Like there's a lot of signs in York County. It's not just real estate signs. So when it comes to your yard signs, you definitely have to make sure your name is.
There's a billboard on 83 and the font is really beautiful. I have almost run off the road because I'm like, I have no idea what the billboard is for. None. It's beautifully done. It's graphic and on print, it probably looked lovely. But the way the sun hits it, I have I couldn't tell if it was a plumbing company, probably not because of the font,
Right.
but I couldn't tell you if is it a jewelry store, is it a realtor, is it a plumbing company? I have no idea. And they have totally wasted all their money because the font is this beautiful cursive that you cannot read when you're going 80 miles an hour.
I think I know which one it is. I think it's for lashes and like Botox and stuff. I think it's like a.
I have no idea, but that would make sense. But
Yeah.
it's like you just fly past it and you're like, what the hell was that? Like, simple, big, easy, words.
I also think sign placement is important. And it can be hard in the city because you want your sign to be seen, just a yard sign. But also when you're doing billboards, sign placement is appropriate. And so this is another 83 example. This is actually where Jeremy's billboard is, but before that, like a couple of years ago, I wanted to stop and take a video of this and send it to Jimmy Fallon because it was like a WellSpan billboard and it was like, you can quit smoking, we have a great program for you. And then the very next billboard is John Wayne and it says, nobody likes a quitter. I was like,
oh yeah.
And WellSpan had nothing to do with the John Wayne ad. The nobody likes a quitter one was something about I'm like totally different, but it was like, talk about bad placement. Like that was just poor.
Yeah.
Somebody didn't look at what else has gone up at the same time.
It was just really funny. I love that story. Okay. Oops. I'm like, why didn't that work? Automated marketing, we can do a lot in Command with this. I wanted to show you this, but I'm having a hard time sharing my screen, so I'll just talk about it a little bit. And if you have not set up drip campaigns and really,
I need to practice that more with, I'm not comfortable yet with Command. Because I did so many years of Buffini that, they were automatic and I could just place them up, 15 minutes and I would be set. So I have not done what I need to do.
You take an hour to leverage Command and set it up, it'll be faster than 15 minutes. It just takes that time to set people up on those drip campaigns. The one that I recently added was the app to get people to download my app and include that one. The birthday one is really easy. But yeah, and if that is something that is a big interest to people, we can rein in Katie and get her to do like a quick 45-minute, this is how you set it up in Command, and I'll do it together. And I'd be happy to help her with that too. The campaigns through Command also, they drop everything right into your CRM. So I'll show you. it says you cannot start screen share while other participant is sharing. Does that mean I have to unshare
Mhm.
as a,
Yeah,
okay. So I'm gonna kind of switch directions here and go a little off script because I do want to talk about social media more than they did.
should just be that one.
This one,
Yeah, and it should just be, is there a stop? Let's see. Was sitting for too long.
Might go to sleep.
Yeah.
I can share this. There you go.
And then now you should be able to share.
Okay. Now I have my Mac muted, so hopefully when I share this, it won't screw up the volume. Yay. All right, so this is my Gmail account. I had this all set up and then I forgot. So when I left one unread, so just so you can, no, it's not showing.
Did you do screen, did you share it on yours?
Mhm.
There you go.
There we go, okay. So this is my Gmail account. And I left one unread so you can see how it shows up. It comes up as Keller Williams, new lead received. So I click on that and it'll say this, I can say, yeah, sure, I'll view my lead. And then it's gonna pop me right into command. And there she is. So I have a phone number and email address for her. She's subscribed already to see the app. And it tells me what lead, where it came from. So she was interested in the open house that I'm doing on Saturday. And then it also says, I can't actually read that. Oh, she also signed up for the new home search on my website. So I didn't have to go find any of that information. Command just tracks it for me. If I want to see how a campaign is doing, I can go into a campaign. This shows me that I do 50% Facebook, 50% Instagram, and what I've done on both. This number is like a little overwhelming, 33,532 to hit my goal of 30 sold houses this year. So that's just slightly overwhelming. So I don't ever look at, I don't give that much attention. Here are the ads that I currently have, or when I had them running, or when they are coming up. If I go into paid ads, it'll show me which ones are active, which ones are completed, how much I spent on each, how many clicks I have, how many leads I've gotten from each one. So my most successful one was not my listing, but it was an open house I did for another realtor. Is it on here, Tanner Lane? Here we go. So I had 364 clicks, so 8 cents per click, and 20 leads, which is about $1.50 per lead. It was an ad I ran for a week and I only spent $30. And that was a fairly successful open house, so.
I've never done any of this, so I guess that's something I need to, you
Yeah.
and I should chat at some point.
Well, there are a ton of tutorials on the KW Command YouTube channel on how to do it. And it's pretty easy. Like you walk through, you start a campaign, it'll ask you what kind of campaign you want to start. And a lot of it, it'll formulate for you. It'll pull in your pictures from your listing, anything on the MLS. So this has been very, very helpful for me to say that I can see how many impressions I have. To go back, this is a house that came back on the market because it fell out of financing. And so my seller is like super anxious about getting it resold because we were supposed to close last week. So when I can go back to her and say, hey, we had 2,577 impressions, 63 people clicked through all your pictures, and 7 people contacted me to, you know,
That's
to
huge.
show it.
Yeah.
Like that, it shows a little bit more than I posted it on Facebook and, you know, my mom shared it.
Right.
Which I also did, and which my mom also did. So, but this goes a little bit further and just shows how that marketing reach. So any questions about this? Anybody?
So when you do the campaigns, did that go to Facebook or did that email people?
This was a Facebook ad.
Oh, okay.
Actually, it was Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, okay.
So I created one ad. Duplicate it. I was looking to see if I could open it up and show it to you.
That's all right.
But I can. Yeah, and this breaks it down on how many clicks from Facebook and Instagram. I have a larger following on Facebook than I do Instagram. I have to work on that. What I'm hoping I hope they connect into LinkedIn, but LinkedIn doesn't do a lot of advertising. It's part of why it's professional, and
Right.
so you kind of have to go in and do your own LinkedIn. So not only is Command like a really useful tool for this, it is less expensive than doing a radio ad. It's less expensive than doing print advertising. I mean, you can't even pay for postage at these prices. And it's getting results. It's another way to touch people and to see people. And when you do an ad, that's different than a Facebook post where you boost a post. Do you guys know the difference between the two? So this is going to like, you know, when you're shopping for a pair of shoes and then you go to Facebook and that pair of shoes keeps showing up like on the side, or shoes like that you might like, and it's like, why are you showing me all these shoes? They're amazing. I'll buy them all. That's where this shows up. So anybody who was looking for houses or was recently on Zillow and then they go to Facebook or their Instagram account, these ads show up on the side. You might like a house like this. You were looking in Silver Spring. And you can target to the geographic radius that it goes for, because obviously selling a house, being based in New York, selling a house in Silver Spring is not going to be the same market. So I can target people who live in this Glenmont Village in Silver Spring. So it's a very, very effective tool. And definitely something that like my pictures are on the ads, the KW Keystone is on the ads. You do have to comply with the same, you know, if your cell phone number is on there, your office number has to be on there. Each office is individually owned and operated, has to be on there. So all that stuff still applies, but you can make it a 6 font and that's fine. So that, you know, the other stuff is bigger. And then I try, when I'm promoting a listing, I always try and have my picture on it, which you can see a little bit more in the dashboard. That's not quite the whole thing.
Right.
But yeah, but my picture's on there. And then the open house, I was really trying to, I'm really trying to show the house and not necessarily me,
Right.
because these are buyers that I don't want to keep.
Right.
So I chose to do that separately. And then at the bottom of the one that says for sale, it does say the kind consider it professional. And so all that branding continues and rolls through. So I'm about to change my headshot and I'm curious to see how that affects my branding, but we'll see. The other place that these leads show up is this little notification. And if you have a red dot up there, it says somebody's trying to connect with you through Facebook. So, so just something to see and consider. Okay. Any questions about this?
And many, but
Yeah.
at least I will.
But do you see how it ties into your
Yeah.
whole branding and
Yeah.
how many impressions you can get from that, and how you're gonna reach a larger audience of non-Mets, but you have the opportunity to bring in that prospecting and follow up with them.
Right.
So when I do it, I complement this with a Facebook post, and that's where people like it, share it, comment on it. When anybody shares it, I go to their page and say, thank you for sharing. If somebody makes a comment, I comment back. I try and get in touch with them through instant messenger. It's that follow-up And that, again, like that missing puzzle piece of prospecting that gets these Facebook ads to go somewhere. Okay. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing and see if I can go back to sharing.
So it should be able to just. Yeah, and then click the presentation. Yeah.
Hey, look at us figuring it out.
You know, by the end of this 36-12-3 class, there'll be at least 4 or 5 of us that can run this system. You know, like if nothing else, you know, I'm anxious for my turn up there because, you know, we got, Katie did it a couple of times. Obviously, she already knew it, you know, but we've had Nicole do it. Now you're doing it. So we're all gonna slowly get our chance at being
Learning
there.
it, yep.
So I will share the social media guidelines that we got in bold. And this was new to bold this year. So if you miss it this time around, catch it next time around because this whole segment was 100% worth it. But the 3 rules, the 80-20 principle of social media applies. So 80% of your sales will come from 20% of your people, and 20% of your contacts are going to be the ones that share and comment on your feed. Don't post and ghost. So if you post something like, the one that I have coming up this weekend is a list of where all the fireworks are going to be locally. So like, don't miss the fireworks show. So if somebody posts or comments on that, don't, like, I have to remember to go back in and comment on their comments. Find communities where you can offer value. We talked about that a little bit in the beginning. That's just increasing your sphere and sharing your expertise and showing that you're more than just a realtor, like you're a person with other interests and so forth. So you can do personal posts, business posts, public service posts. There's a 10, 10, and 5 rule for social engagement. So this is something that was recommended we do. I'm so sorry. How did I turn that off? What did he want us to do that every day, right? 10, 10, and 5?
Yeah.
It is to like or love 10 posts a day to show acknowledgement of the people in your world, to comment on 10 posts a day, and to share 5 either articles, blogs, or other people's posts that can contribute to your communities. And then that is just, again, like that's that marketing and prospecting together, because you are interacting with your sphere and your world of influence. And when people see that, they, also remember that you're a real estate agent if you have one Facebook page. I have 2. I have a business and a personal, and I think I'm going to merge those really into one. Because there's no reason not to. So.
And just have personal.
I don't know.
I've found greater success with people just doing personal.
I like the greatest success I have is when I post something on my business, like if it's promoting a listing or like this 4th of July list of fireworks, and then I share it to my personal, and then everybody comments on my personal.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but when I share it, it shares as Erin Rogers, realtor, Keller Williams. If I just do it on my personal, it just shows up as me. And is that reminding them that I'm a realtor?
You just change your personal name.
I know, to realtor. So,
Yeah.
and then you have to be really careful about commenting or not commenting on political.
It keeps you very professional real quick.
That goes back to being kind, considerate, professional, and scrolling past
Scroll
the ones
past it.
that make you nuts. So, any ahas from the social media?
Oh, I just need to do more of it. I just don't care for it, but I just gotta do it.
It's like the billboard ad, just different.
Yeah, I just gotta do it.
I mean, if you really think about it, that's what it is. It's the billboard ad on somebody's computer where they get to say, hey, this is really cool, thanks for sharing.
Mhm.
And you get to say, you're welcome. You don't get that with the billboard.
That's true.
So the other trick I have found with Facebook to increase your search engine optimization, which is how it polls, is to use emojis.
Mhm.
I struggle with that because I feel like that's unprofessional.
Mhm.
I just feel like it's very
Childish.
juvenile. So, but it does, it changes how the computer picks it up.
Mhm.
So, so if you can wrap your head around,
Kinda
like I'm
is,
doing
yeah.
it for the computer, so the computer knows that the little picture of the house means everybody looking for a house should see this ad. It does make a big difference. And I see that with the Facebook campaigns I do without emojis versus the ones I do with emojis.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah, so this house is close to shopping, restaurants, you know, I do like a little
So you
shirt's
just change
tail.
some of those.
Yeah, the little shopping bag, close to parks and recreation, the guy on the bike.
If you say don't run
Mhm.
or don't walk, run,
Yeah.
make the little
The
jogger
guy,
person.
The runner.
Yeah,
Um,
lots of little.
I don't I do not use emojis to replace words. Some people do. That to me is where it gets like a little juvenile. I think that's where I've decided I can draw the line.
I'm not good at
So.
it either. I just know it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you guys have kids, so I'll trust you on that one, because I think it's ridiculous to.
It's all the way it reads it.
It's interesting to know, though.
Let's see, is this gonna change? Yay. Okay, so the internet, which we've talked a lot about because it's really media, social media. But as far as the internet in general, we all have a free website with Keller Williams. It's part of our technology fee. So if you have not set it up, make an appointment with Katie, get it set up. It's really easy to do, very, very important, and you should have it linked everywhere. Your marketing approach should definitely involve technology at this point. If we all need to be on social media, we all need to be looking at our websites. It's a great place to get and track testimonials. That's what people read. My big challenge for myself this year, because it's not something I've done, and if anybody has, I am open to suggestions, but I need to get better about my Google profile. Because a lot of people will Google, and I don't know if you know this or not, but if you have a Gmail account and you go in and Google people, like if I go in and Google real estate agents in York, Pennsylvania, the two people that pop up are Katie Klink and Amy Rayner. And that's because both of them are in my Gmail as contacts, and they're people I contact regularly. And so the computer knows that and pops them up. So if you are working with somebody in a group outside of real estate and you are in their contacts in Google and they go searching for a real estate agent, you want to pop up. That's just another way to do it. It's a great way to collect testimonials. I know this, I have to figure out how to do it. But to get 4 or 5 stars. So when my husband says, hey, my wife is a realtor, and they Google me, it's not coming up like I've never done a deal in my life.
Right.
Currently, that's what it looks like. I gotta fix that. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But if anybody has any Google tricks, like I am all ears. That is my project for this summer, is to get that better. We all are trying to keep up with marketing through the internet. It is less expensive, especially because Keller Williams does so much of it for us. We actually, this is when I was like, wow, these are really outdated. Our IDX is already built in to our website, so we don't have to pay for that separately anymore. We have drip campaigns that are set up automatically. We can offer a CMA, a marketing analysis, and the snapshots through the neighborhood snapshots. So if you have any questions about that, like I said, after this, we might very well want to do a class with Katie that is specifically marketing driven. but we would want people to sign up in advance for it, so, because we've done that before and nobody, it's been Katie and I, so, which is how I got to learn a lot about it.
Yeah.
But- So definitely remember, you have to have content that the public wants, right? We always come from contribution. Oh, somebody has a tip. Lindsay says, one tip I have heard to make your Google page pop up more is to engage with it as much as possible. Going in and updating it and respond to every review helps a lot.
Mhm.
Thank you, Lindsay.
They also say add pictures, so when, I can't think of his name, but he also sells coffee. He was here to drop off coffee for the office and a commission statement. He went outside and he took a picture of the brand new building. And while I updated the Google address for our office, that gets more views right away
Yeah.
too. He took pictures of the inside and outside and uploaded them too, that's supposed to get more traction on there too. Changing the name in your cell phone and putting all of your contact in it too, when you call people, that all will show up as
Yeah.
how you want it to show up too. When I was an executive assistant, my name would always show up as Dr. Jeff. And it took years to get that away from Megan Link on Google. So changing, like having email signatures, naming your email account, if you hadn't, and making your contact in your phone for yourself, have all of your stuff in it is one way to produce better results.
Yeah.
So
It's all linked together. you
Yeah.
know, like it, and that's the SEO, the search optimization.
I'd call people and they'd be like, hi, Dr. Jeff. I'm like, no.
No. Yeah.
It took a while to fix, like changing my number to fix that.
I believe it. All right. So again, your content has to be what people, is come from contribution. It has to be relevant. And you have to make your site, your content on your websites findable. So just having a place for your blogs or having your blogs on your front page can be really beneficial too. How are you doing that? We're doing
Great. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, I need to leave because I need to do a walkthrough and then go to settlement. So
Congratulations.
thank you. And
Good luck.
thank you. I will be in touch with y'all. I will see you later, the next
Later.
event. So thank you, my dear, for hosting, teaching, and
My pleasure.
we'll see you soon.
See you soon. With closing that.
Yes, yes. Be back in a couple hours.
So I think we've all seen this a lot, especially if you've taken Bold or if you've been to any RAYAC events lately. Like we all know that the majority of people are looking for listings online. Nobody's picking up the Sunday paper anymore and looking at that back page. If they're not finding it on Zillow or Trulia or your KW app, then they're getting it directly from their agents or other agents are sending it out. The other top dog on here is that yard sign. So definitely making sure that your yard signs are visible and you can see, what it is that's going on is important. So marketing your listings. This is, I'll let you guys read through like the 14-step lineup. This is directly from the Millionaire Real Estate book. And it definitely works. But you need to use a plan that balances the goal. Like, is the goal to have like an open house with 100 people through it? Is the goal to sell it at the highest price? Is the goal to move it as quickly as possible? And then your message needs to match that goal. So marketing to other agents is also a little bit differently. We talk about networking in the halls. That's just having conversations with everybody here at KW. We are actually looking to add a section to our company meeting where we can have highlighted listings or listings that are coming up, hard to sell homes, so that we just are all kind of aware of what's going on in the market. I think that would be huge for us. You can email brochures out. We have a great way to do this in Bright, where you can do reverse marketing and market back to the agents who have clients that fit the profile for that house. You can host an agent event in the listing. You can participate in agent caravans. I have never done this. Has anybody ever done this?
What is an agent caravan?
I honestly have no idea. I've never done one. Is that when agents get together and like go on like a house tour? It's the only thing I can think of. If I had a huge house that I was selling and a class to offer, it would be really fun to host a class in somebody's house. That would be really cool, especially if you had a commercial listing or like one of the big barns or something, you know, something like that, and then to hold a class on property lines, boundaries, or easements. Those are all things that come up when we sell big properties. That would be really fun too. The other thing that you can do is offer a higher commission split to market your listing. I don't ever like to give my commission away, so I slide right past that one, but it is an option.
Yeah.
So, in addition to the MLS, and definitely knowing that people are going to look for homes on the internet, it is so important to have good pictures. The pictures are the first impression of the house. So if you walk into the house and it's gleaming and it's beautiful and it's gorgeous and it's bright, if your picture doesn't reflect that, people are never, ever going to walk in and actually see it. I have had clients that I've had to twist their arms and be like, I saw this listing in person yesterday. The pictures don't do it justice. Just drive out here and meet me. Like, you have to see it in person. Don't be that listing agent. Pay to take the pic, have the pictures professionally done. If you're gonna do them yourselves, get some lighting for your camera, so that you are showing the picture in the best light. I am a firm believer in curiosity kills the cat, so I don't want to see 100 pictures of a home. It's too much, it's too overwhelming. 14 is a sweet spot for a small house. I think 25 is a sweet spot for a house that's like 2,000 to 3,000 square feet. Anything over 25 and it better be the yard, the community, like a drone tour.
Yeah.
I also find that you get way more out of video tours than you do out of the standalone pictures.
Yeah, I've seen some places that have like 50 to 80 pictures.
Yeah.
And they're showing this like the same view. So this doesn't make sense. Why are you know?
Well, and edit through your pictures. Like, there's so many listings right now where there are like 60 pictures, but like 5 of them are the same. It's the kitchen like 5 times and sometimes it's in a row. Like, you know how to delete, right?
Yep.
And if you don't, then ask for help and lean on, because it not only is going to hurt your listing and your brand, it hurts KW too. So.
And on the flip side, make sure the pictures are essentially truthful, because I get a couple of buyers I've been working with, they see a picture and they go in, well, this doesn't look anything like the picture.
Right.
You know, try to get a good representation of what the room is like or what the house is like. And of course, picture, you know, you want to present the best scenario. So, but this makes a room look, 20 times larger.
Yeah.
And get there and it's.
Yeah. And people also are skeptical of seeing houses that don't show like the essentials. So if you skip bathroom pictures because like the bathroom is just to find something nice in the bathroom, or just stand back and take a shot, like the bathroom does exist.
Yeah.
But when they're like this, it says it's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath house. Well, they only show 1 bathroom. So is it really 2.5 baths? You know, like you do have to show those essential aspects of it.
The showing I went on last night said it was a 1.5 bath and there was only 1 picture of the bathroom.
Yeah.
And we found out why. It's these half bath was actually in a closet.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a closet door, a bifold door. You open it up and there was a toilet and a little sink.
Huh.
It's a true water closet.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
And I was, my comment was, because it was right on the it was right on this bedroom.
Yeah.
I said, well, this must be the master.
It's an ensuite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to get away from saying the master.
So again, we already participate in the IDX, you don't have to worry about that, it's built in. I do like to do a
I think
featured,
Lindsay, does Lindsay have a chat?
I think that was an old.
Oh, is that old one? Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's okay. Cause I just looked on my computer too. On the featured, I like to do featured listings on my homepage, even if they've sold, I just like to put sold, a little sold tag next to them. But to show some of those, and I have a range, I show my high-end houses and I show my low-end houses. And even yesterday when I met with somebody for a magazine advertising opportunity, and she was like, well, what kind of clients do you look for? And I said, I don't discriminate, I look for people that I can help. So I do first-time home buyers all the way to people who are downsizing. And that's more about knowing the market and where we are and what's available for each of those types of people. But I'm not like, it has to be a $300,000 home, or I'm not even looking at it. Like that's, I'm like, whatever you need, we'll figure it out. So if it's not you who owns the $500,000 house, but your kid who's buying their first house, I'm happy to help. So. So we do in Command have the ability to create landing pages. That again is really, really, really easy. You can link them right to your Facebook ads. And that does make a big difference. It's also a great selling point when you're trying to get the listing. When you go on a listing appointment and you're like, hey, your house will have its own website. People get really, really excited about that. I have not used a blog to talk about a house, but I'm not opposed to it. It's just not something that I've utilized. Has anybody else utilized it?
No.
Oops, wrong computer. So we've talked a lot about yard signs. So again, this is just, they need to be visible from the road or from the walking area. If you use a brochure box, keep it stocked and use the riders strategically. So if there's something like a pool or hardwood floors or home warranty, something that sticks out about the house, to use those riders is pretty good. What I would add to this, and this is starting to become a little bit, this is definitely something that is used heavily in the Maryland market, especially in Baltimore, and it's starting to make its way up here. So if you want to be on the starting edge of it, is to put a QR code on your rider.
That was good, yeah.
Yeah. Lindsay says Jeremy has a blog, but I don't think it has much return, but it is more for education and marketing updates. I agree. That's what I would use a blog for too. I don't know.
I've been seeing QR codes on yard signs now.
Yes.
And,
Yeah, and people will stop and scan the QR code and that's the brochure.
Yeah.
And you know what? You don't have to circle back to that house to make sure that the box is stuffed. The paper doesn't get rained on. It doesn't get folded in somebody's pocket. It doesn't get lost. And it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
So QR codes are definitely a way to go.
Or if I can put a QR code just over top of my sign.
Oh,
Like
just
add
on
it.
your sign in
Yeah.
general,
Yeah.
to go to your website. Okay, Lindsay said, we have QR codes on our postcards so they can scan instantly and it actually traces them and pulls their info in as a lead as well.
Okay.
That's wrong computer. Lindsay, thank you for sharing. These are gold nuggets. They're beautiful.
Absolutely.
Ah, I can hear you. So yeah, those, again, like that's keeping up with technology. That's why, we need to get KW University to update these slides for us because so much has changed.
Yep.
And I mean, COVID took a lot of paper away. And people just aren't going back to it. It's not only environmentally friendly, but it's so much easier to share like something like that with a spouse when you get home. You're like, hey, look at this. I was out walking the dog and check out this house that I just saw. And it's, all the pictures are right there instead of just having 3 or whatever information you can share on a brochure. So again, talking about our listings, and we want to make sure our branding is included in our listings. This is advertising, marketing for buyer business. So when we want to bring more buyers in, we love to use the listing to get more buyers and even buyers who have listings of their own that need to be sold. And some of these I thought were interesting. I'm curious on everybody's feedback. So maximize your marketing to bring in more buyers for your business, 100%. You definitely want to, that's why we always want listings. Don't disqualify your listing by giving too much information. This goes back to, I am a firm believer in this one as well, the curiosity killed the cat. And the more I want, so many people walking through that door, kind of a see it to believe it kind of mentality. And I think that's really important. And if you don't have any listings, advertise head homes, which one of the things I love about KW is if there is a listing in a market, in a neighborhood where you want to get buyers, just about any of us will, like, yes, market, you can market any of my listings at any time. And if I can get you an open house, I will. Like, I'm happy to do that, and most people at our office are. So systematic marketing, this is where we're going to save a lot of time in our own worlds and setting up the drip campaigns and doing all of this. So the 3 foundational marketing plans, there's an 8x8, and that's for people that we've met. The 33 touch campaign, again, is for people that we've met. And then 12 direct marketing plans for people we have not met. So for 12 contacts for people that we have met, it leads to 2 transactions. That's 36, 12, 2. And our haven't met, we need 50 of those contacts in our database to get 1 transaction. And then I will add to the conversion rate here for Facebook, it's 300 leads to get 1 transaction. Well, it's 300 leads, 100 conversations, 1 transaction. So this is how we kind of figure out what our goals are. So for this program, our goal is 36 transactions. Then we need 30 transactions from people we have met. We need 6 transactions from people we haven't met. That means we need to talk to or market to 180 people that we have met, people in our sphere, and we need to find 300, or we need to connect with 50 people 6 times or 300 times. And that's how we kind of come out with these ratios. And so based on that, how many contacts do we need? So we need 180 mets and 300 have not mets. And then the best practice here is make sure your database has twice that number of contacts.
Yeah.
So here are our key strategies. These are tried and true. There's really, everybody who does these has a consistent, successful business. So target your audience, be consistent and repetitive, and don't overthink it. So who is your audience? Who's in your sphere? Who's in your community? What community do you want to be in? And identify that group, and then develop materials that speak to them. And that is coming from contribution, showing what's important, supporting those charity events that support that community. Be consistent and repetitive. So you can't just do it one time, you just have to continue to do it over and over and over and over again, so that you continue to take up that mind share and you stay at the forefront of when they think of a realtor, they think of you. Quantity is more important than perfection. Okay, so we don't want to send something out with typos, but it doesn't have to be like the granddaddy advertisement of all advertisement. It doesn't need to win the Super Bowl ad competition. Like that's not the goal. The goal is to get it out there more and more and more, and to move forward from there. And then you can always make it better. And whenever you can strive, whenever you have a starting point, you can always have improvements. So the 8x8 is an intensive marketing and prospecting blitz for the people you've just met. This is a whole program, it's in command, it's relatively easy to set up. The 33 touch is a consistent repetitive plan for people you have met. This is your newsletter or I'm trying to think of the other drip campaigns you can set them on. This is the one for your app. You can put them on that one. Snapshots in their neighborhood. So whenever a house sells in their desired neighborhood, they'll get that information as well. And then the 12 direct for have not met. I like how they put, it's a battle of patience, not out of the pocketbook. But that's just like continuing to touch base with them and continuing to stay in front of them. For a lot of us on the buyer side, this is setting them up on the MLS in their desired neighborhood with their desired house. And so whenever something new pops up, I would say that would be my direct there. Anything to add? Does anybody have any experiences with these that they want to share? Okay, again, this is where Keller Williams is going to make our world easier through command. So we can set these systems up and then just let it roll. And you check into it from time to time and make sure your branding, your marketing is matching what you're doing on social media and it's all kind of flowing together. So our design tips, there's a whole section in command called designs and it will design everything for you. And you just have to go in and put in your information. It's beautiful. But include an offer response in every piece. So calling that action item. Again, this is something I think Jeremy does beautifully. Come from contribution. We always want to be giving, giving, giving. And those who give receive. Emphasize the benefits, not the features. So here's my little marketing trick that I'll share for this. And just remember, I went to school in Tennessee. So that I was taught sometimes differently. But I had a marketing professor who said, he said, let me just put this in words you'll understand. A benefit ain't a benefit unless it satisfies a need. So benefits are different for everybody and features are different for everybody. Features are a little bit more tactical, tangible. You can really put your hands on them and it's a fact, right? Like it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, that's a feature. But a large gourmet kitchen is only a benefit for a chef, for somebody who cooks, for somebody who enjoys that kind of thing. So in your marketing, you want to make sure whatever it is that person needs, you're highlighting and showing them that it is a benefit. Mm-hmm. And you have to connect features to benefits. People don't do that automatically. So have you ever been with a buyer and you're like, why don't we like this house? This house checks every single box, everything on your list. It's right here. Everything you wanted, everything you told me you needed is right here. And they just haven't connected that that's what they needed. You said you know, a 2-car garage was really important for you because you're growing your landscaping business and you need a secure place to store your equipment. You don't want to pay for that storage unit anymore. So can't you see? So does this garage mean you can ditch the storage unit? And is that a benefit to you? You have to connect those pieces for people. And that can be a little tricky to do in a marketing piece, but it's great to do in conversations. Again, coming in from, we talked about that. Branding is having that consistent look and feel and then have an attractive professional look. And that again is make sure your spelling is correct, go from the back up, and just kind of make sure everything is something that people are going to pick up and look at. Number 6, have a unique eye-catching look. I love the dog bone, it's hysterical. People say that pets and children are very eye-catching, more so than a picture of a house. When you go through command and you're doing like a listing presentation or a buyer's presentation, or even designing something for Facebook, a lot of their images are people doing activities in a house, not just a picture of a house. But that's what catches somebody's attention and is more memorable than just like the roof. Personalize your ads and your events. Always, always, always promote yourself, include your picture, and then look for longevity. use only one focused message per piece. So this would be like coming from contribution and promoting like a community event. So we'll use my firework app that hopefully I get up by Friday. But that's the plan. So I want to put like Happy Independence Day, enjoy the fireworks shows, and then the dates, times, and where those shows are, right? I don't want to put at the bottom, and if you're thinking of buying and selling, contact me. You know, that's not what this is. This is coming from contribution, and it's about promoting the community, not necessarily me. So you don't want to mix those messages. You don't want to have an open house here, and then also I work with first-time home buyers. Like, you want your message to be conducive or just have one focal point. Any comments? Okay. Use testimonials. This is something that I'm definitely working on. I'm not really good at collecting testimonials. I don't know why. Working on it. That's one of the things I'm focusing on this year. Leverage the seasons. It's just a fun.
Where do you post the testimonials, or where do you get them? Because you know, places that I've sold, I've tried. And I'm reaching out to them, okay, what did I do? What do you think that I did? And where, because I get these ads, these things from realtor.com. Hey, you just sold this house, get a testimonial from them. And
I have not done that because I find that there's like, when I have received those, like from my car dealership or something, I just delete them. I don't do it. But my car dealership was having a contest, and whatever service attendant got the most reviews got a prize. And so she called me and told me that. And so she said, I'm going to send you a link. Will you do a testimonial? And I said, sure. And it was a Google link, and it was rate the stars, and then you can write a comment if you want it. So that's why setting it up on Google is so important. And then it's going to show up on Google, and then you can copy and paste it and use it on any marketing material you want. But that's what I would do. I would reach out to your contacts in a conversation, and just say, like, I was reflecting on our experience. You know, how's the house? How's everything going? I'm working on my website. Is a great question. I'm working on my website, and I've been challenged to get some testimonials. Would you be willing to write one for me? You can email it to me, or I can send you this Google link and can do it on there. Most people want to help. People want to help people that help them. So that's a good one as well.
okay.
Lindsay,
Can I share something quick?
Yeah.
Sorry. Hey, so one thing that we do for reviews is we actually don't wait until after. We have always done where we are following up with them on something related to the transaction. So they just went under contract. Let's say we need them to sign like a form or something like that. We will actually reach out to them at that time before the transaction's even done and ask for a review, because then, you know, when the house goes sold and they're in their house and they're doing everything, like they have a lot that they have to go through, and they're really busy and they don't really have the time to do it. That middle time between going under contract and settlement is kind of not as busy as it, you know, at the very end. So we found that we have more return when we ask, you know, maybe a week after going under contract or something like that. And then I always send a congratulatory email as well. And that's when we ask for referrals. And then we also ask for the review again if they didn't do it the first time.
Yeah, and that's a great use of communication and the internet, and, you know, again, really inexpensive marketing. Bold echoed the same thing. The best time to ask for a review is when everybody's under contract and everybody's happy, you know. And I mean, I've had people write them, like handwrite them, and I've had people email them to me. I have found that more people who aren't technically savvy, or they don't want to put their name on Google, they'll respond and say, can I just email you something? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. You can email me something. You can copy and paste it whatever you want. Thank you, Lindsay. Leverage the seasons. it's just a fun way and a great excuse to, football season starting, or it's pool season, we'll be rolling into football, then have Thanksgiving and the holidays, and then winter storms are always fun, and springtime and St. Patrick's Day, so you can always find a reason to contact people. Brand both sides. I guess if you're doing print advertising, it would make sense to do both sides of paper. I don't know. And systematic marketing,
Oh, okay, yeah.
like I wouldn't, there are not two sides to brand and social media. All right, putting it all together. Oh, we only have 3 minutes left. How many more slides do I have? Not too many. So any ha-has that we want to share? Lindsay, you have shared a lot. I'm so appreciative. Thank you. I think we've kind of been sharing throughout. So definitely you want to put into your lead generation action plan, your drip campaigns, your 8x8s, your regular touches. And then remember, while you're still on the path to 36, you should spend most of your 3 hours prospecting and then supplement with your marketing. And once you get your marketing set up, it'll just go. So building on our habits, our 3-hour time block, don't skip it. If you must erase it, then replace it, and try not to allow for any interruptions. I just got a big sign to hang on my door. Look at that, we're gonna finish right on time. So thanks everybody for attending. I don't have an evaluation form for you to complete. You can just email me if I was good or not. I hope I brought some value. You're welcome, Lindsay. Thanks again for contributing. I hope I brought some additional value with the social marketing stuff and with what we can do in Command, because that is where this program can elevate to the next level, because it's here, we have it all, we just have to start using it, so.
I jumped into it when I first started, then I got out of it. But now it's just, I need to get back into it. And
With Command and the marketing stuff, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it's easier than doing it on your own. It is, it
Yeah.
just,
I mean, I've done a print campaign, I've done some Facebook ads.
yeah.
Just need to do more of it, be more consistent.
I need to go through my database and make sure I have everybody set up on something,
Yeah,
because that's what I'm missing. The stuff that I have out there that's running is great, but I know I don't have everybody on it.
one thing, like, I don't like about Command is like, I had some people, they were looking, I put them in Command, put them in my database. And, well, we want to look for this area, look in this area, and they only have certain neighborhoods. And there are certain sections in those neighborhoods you can't highlight. Well, I'm like, well, you're missing it, I can't send something out that, York Suburban or Dallastown, and there are certain areas, but then there's a house for sale in there, but I can't highlight that in Command. So I end up just going into Brighton, just highlighting, just sending them up in there and doing that. But
Yeah, well, the snapshots in Command are different than what happens in Bright. And Bright is always going to be more real time than Command will ever be.
Yeah.
And that's because of Bright's rules, not because of Keller Williams. And that's just how all brokerages are. And that's how Bright is trying to hold on to the data, right? He who controls the data is going to control the world. So they're not willing to let that piece go.
Yeah.
So I also set people up on Bright. The neighborhood snapshots in Command it's just another touch to be like, this is and it shows like the average price in that neighborhood, how many listings are up, how many, it's just a different way to look at the market. So that's why I use it, but I wouldn't use Command or Keller Williams to be like the home search.
Yeah.
Because Bright won't even let Keller Williams pull coming soon.
Okay, yeah.
So that's.
Yeah, and that's where I kind of I guess one of the things I just kind of got away from Command, I just went right to Bright. If somebody's looking for, Downtown School District, boom, that's easy.
Right.
And
Yeah, but that's after they buy a house, they're no longer in Bright.
Yeah.
So then what are you doing to touch them?
That's what I need to,
Yeah, so that's, so when you set them up, so they can get your newsletter, they can be on your birthday, they get emailed on their birthday from you, like all of those things, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you're right, it's easy to get away from. Okay,
well, thank you very much.
good. Hold on, I'll just walk over here. Next time I'm gonna stand right here.
There you go.
The whole time, which I promise. Oh yeah, I pulled them on my computer. So, yeah, but it just isn't clear right here.